You're listening to The Boy Who Dug a Hole to Nowhere, written and told by Purdy Brock Jenkins. This recording was made for listeners on YouTube Music as well as social media networks around the world. It's a brand new folktale from the Purdyville Library, so go on and get comfortable. Grab a snack or 7. After all, 7 snacks are better than 1 or 3. Put your feet up and relax. A good book is always better with a good snack. Ready? 3, 2, 1. There once was a boy named Henry. Henry liked quiet things, the hush of wind, the ripple of water, the steady scratch of shovel on earth. One spring morning, he walked to the middle of a wide empty field, set down his small spade, and began to dig. Clara the squirrel stopped on the fence and twitched her tail. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Digging," Henry said. "Digging what?" "A hole," Henry replied. Clara blinked. "A hole to where?" Henry wiped dirt from his cheek. "I don't know yet." By the second day, the hole was deep enough that only Henry's head showed above the edge. Olive the owl perched on a post. "Why do you dig?" she asked. "To see where it goes," Henry said. "What if it goes nowhere?" Olive asked. Henry shrugged. "Then I'll know that too." Henry dug in the mornings, when the grass still sparkled with dew. He dug through long afternoons, the sun spilling gold across his shoulders. He dug when the crickets began their nighttime song. And the hole grew, deeper, darker, wider. The pile of dirt behind him became a small hill. Sometimes as Henry dug, he felt like the earth was breathing around him, softly, steadily, as though the soil itself was waiting. He didn't know what for, but still he dug. One evening, when the stars peeked over the horizon, Leonard wandered by with Finn trotting at his heels. "What are you looking for?" Leonard asked. Henry paused, resting on his shovel. "I'm not looking," he said. "I'm listening." Leonard tilted his head. "To what?" Henry pressed his ear to the earth. "To what's below." Above him, the sky opened wide and endless. Below him, the darkness waited, cool and quiet. Henry didn't know if he'd ever reach an ending, or if there even was one. All he knew was that he had to keep digging. By summer, the hole was so deep Henry could no longer see the sky. When he climbed out at dusk, his hands were blistered and brown with dirt. But the next morning, he always returned. One day, Clara the squirrel peered over the edge. "You're disappearing," she said. Henry wiped his forehead. "I'm still here." Olive the owl swooped low and landed on the mound of earth beside her. "Henry," she said, "how far do you think it goes?" Henry rested on his shovel. "I don't know." "Then why keep digging?" Henry looked up at her. "Because maybe at the bottom, I'll find something." Olive tilted her head. "And if you don't?" Henry shrugged. "Then I'll know what nothing feels like." Day after day, Henry dug. The grass around the hole dried and flattened under his feet. The pile of earth behind him grew taller than he was. Sometimes, when he climbed out, the sunset felt brighter, the wind felt sharper, the sound of the river seemed louder, sweeter somehow, but still he dug. One night, Henry dreamed he was falling, down, down, down into his own hole. The air grew colder as he dropped. There was no bottom. He woke with dirt under his fingernails, his heart beating fast. The next morning, Leonard wandered by. "Henry," he said softly, "what happens if you reach nowhere?" Henry stared into the hole. The darkness below stared back. "I don't know," he whispered, "but maybe nowhere's where everything starts." As the hole grew deeper, Henry changed. He started noticing things he hadn't noticed before. The way shadows stretched when the sun sank low. How the river curved, like a hand holding the earth. The tiny cracks in the dry ground beneath his feet. He realized he didn't know as much as he thought he did about the earth, about the sky, about himself. By late summer, Henry sat at the edge of the hole, legs dangling into the cool dark. Clara scampered close. "Are you stopping?" Henry shook his head. "Not yet." "Then when?" Henry smiled faintly. "When I know what I'm digging for." That night, Henry lay in the grass and stared at the stars. He imagined his hole stretching down forever beneath him. Above him, the sky went on just as far. Between the two, earth and heaven, he felt very small. And for the first time he wondered, what if the point wasn't to reach somewhere at all? What if it was just to keep digging? Autumn came. The air grew sharp. Leaves spun down like sparks from the sun. Henry still dug. Not as fast now, not as hard, but each morning he walked to the field with his little spade and climbed down into the cool dark. One day, Olive called from above, "Henry, how deep is it now?" Henry leaned on his shovel. "Deeper than I can see." Clara's whiskers twitched. "And what's down there?" Henry smiled faintly. "More earth." Olive ruffled her feathers. "You still haven't found it, then?" Henry shook his head. "No, but I think I understand something." That afternoon, Henry climbed out and sat on the edge of the hole, legs dangling into shadow. He watched the wind ripple through the grass. He listened to the river's steady hum. He felt the sun warming his dirt-streaked hands, and something inside him softened. For months he had believed the hole would take him somewhere, to answers, to meaning, to something. But now, sitting there with the earth piled behind him and the sky stretching above, he realized he had been somewhere the whole time. Leonard wandered up the path with Finn trotting at his side. "Did you find it?" Leonard asked. Henry shook his head. "No, I never reached the end." Leonard glanced into the deep, dark hole. "So all that digging was for nothing?" Henry picked up a handful of soil, let it sift through his fingers. "No," he said softly, "it was for this." "For dirt?" Clara asked. "For knowing," Henry replied. "For feeling the weight of the earth in my hands." That night, Henry lay beside his hole and stared up at the stars. The darkness below him felt endless. The sky above him felt endless. And suddenly, that didn't scare him anymore, because maybe nowhere wasn't a place you reached. Maybe it was the space between the digging and the stopping, the living and the wondering, the being here at all. In the morning, Henry didn't bring his spade. He sat at the edge of the field, watching sunlight spill into the hole. The earth seemed to breathe around him, soft and steady. For the first time since he began, he didn't feel like he had to keep going. He was already there. That's all for now. If the story left something with you, keep it. Let it ride around in your thoughts for a while. These tales weren't meant to explain the world, just to notice it a little more kindly. And if you enjoyed being here, well, I'll be back with more stories, more questions dressed up like answers. Till then, take care of yourself. And take care of the dirt piles in your life. Sometimes they can get very large, and you don't want to be next to it when it falls over, because who wants to get stuck under a dirt pile? It's very dirty and hard to get out from. If this made you smile or feel something fuzzy and wonderful, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Also give me a comment. What ideas do you have for the next story? I'll keep telling stories if you keep listening. This has been Purdy Brock Jenkins, talking slow about things that move fast. I hope you enjoyed the story. It was a very good story. I especially liked the part where Henry woke with dirt under his fingernails. What do you think his mommy would say? Imagine him sitting there at dinner eating, with all of that nasty dirt falling from his fingernails into his food. Would he eat his food with the dirt on it? Maybe it would taste okay with ketchup. After all, even dirty diapers taste better with ketchup. Yum. Remember for next time that we need more snacks. A good book is always better with a good snack. See you next time, and have a sleepy Joe night. End of story.